God sees you, he knows you, and he hears you. He knows exactly where you are and he loves you. I'm sitting here at my local football oval where I often walk my dog, and I suddenly had a flashback memory of an encounter that took place. I was walking up to this very same oval, and I suddenly had a memory of Andrew stopping and buying a homeless man a basket full of groceries, and then another sudden flashback memory came to me about a man who was drunk and needed help in this very football park, and Andrew sat down and had a chat to him while he cried, saying that he had just been separated from his wife. And I can remember thinking, gosh, that's funny. I haven't thought about these things for a very long time. Well, what happened next explained why it was that I suddenly had that memory. I came into this oval that I'm looking at right now, and there was a man that was sitting on a park bench. He was looking very forlorn. I knew that he was struggling with alcohol. It was very apparent. He had a box of alcohol, or a carton of an empty carton of that carried alcohol beside him, and he was looking down. I could feel that he was feeling dejected and even embarrassed. He didn't want to look at me. I walked in and I felt a tug on my heart from God. I felt like he said, I want you to stop. Now the park was completely deserted, and as a female on my own, I thought it's probably not wisdom to be sitting down or talking to someone like this. But I decided I would have a chat to God about it, and I started to walk around the oval with my dog and chat to God about it. And the thought or the feeling just wouldn't go. It's like, God, are you sure you want me to stop for him? It's not wisdom. And I just really felt that God wanted me to stop and have a chat. So out of precaution, because when you do stop for strangers on the street as you go about your day, you do need to be wise in how you do it. I stopped on the other side of the fence and I said, hey, how are you doing? And he said, hi. And I don't know, I can't remember what it was that I spoke to him about. But I said, are you okay? And he said, actually, no, I'm not. And we started to chat, and I could feel God tugging on my heart the whole time. And in the end, I said to him, would you like me to come and sit by your side and have a chat? And he said, that would be really nice, thank you. So I came around and I sat by his side, and he started to tell me his story. He said, I've been sitting here and I saw you come into the football oval, and I just wish that you would stop and you would say hello. And I said, well, I'm a Christian, and I felt like God asked me to stop to say hello to you because he cares about you. And so he asked me to stop for you. And he said, oh, wow, that's really special. Now, I wrote out the full testimony in a story called Here's a God Who Sees. I think it's part 1 or maybe part 2. I'm not sure. It's a 2-part testimony about the God Who Sees. But anyway, as I was chatting to Stuart, I started to talk to him about how he said that he used to like coming down here. And I said, I started to talk to him about what God's heart was for him, what God wanted for him. I said, I really believe that what I actually see is this beautiful young boy who's all freckly, and he's got this curly, sandy brown hair. And he's really excited, and he's running around and he's playing on the football oval. Does that mean anything to you? He said, that's me. That's what I used to look like. I used to play football on this very oval. But because I have trouble with alcohol, they don't let me back here anymore. I've been told I'm not to come. And he kept on telling me a story that there was some things that were really quite sad. And I said to him, gosh, I'm so sorry it's been so tough for you. That's not what God wanted for you. And then I suddenly had a picture of him as a grown-up, coaching and encouraging young kids. I said, I see you like this. And I started to tell him what it was that I saw. And as I did, he started to cry. And he said, that's exactly what my heart's desire is. It's exactly what I would love to do. I said, hey, would you like me to pray? And he said, yes, please. So I ended up praying for him, ministered to him a bit. There's a few bits and bobs that went down as I had a chat to him, gave him Andrew's phone number, and I said to him, you know, I just feel like, would you like to have a hug? Now, I mean, I'm not a hugger, especially not of strange men that I don't know out on my own at a football oval, but I felt God saying, I want you to hug him. And so I gave him a hug, and it was very uncomfortable, but as he hugged, he cried, and he just said to me, thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping. So sometimes we can be out and about and we'll suddenly have a flashback memory of something. Sometimes that sudden flashback memory, that picture in your imagination, that can be God talking to you about something that's just about to happen. What happened throughout that encounter was that I had the flashback memory, the internal memory or my imagination flashed through my mind. Then I felt, well, I knew from externally, I knew that he was clearly having problems with drinking. But then as I walked around the oval, I felt God's compassion for him, and I heard God speaking to my inner person, in my inner voice, him saying, I want you to stop for him, I want you to talk, I want you to stop. And actually I can remember as I walked around, I said to God, all right, if he's still there when I get around to that part of the oval, I'll stop. And the guy got up and started to walk. I went, oh, that's good, I won't have to do this. This is really uncomfortable for me. But all he did was shift seats. And I could see the seat that he was sitting at just over on the other side here. And then I went, oh, okay. So a deal was a deal. So I did stop for him. So I had an inner picture, an inner voice. I heard God in my inner voice. I knew that I knew things about him, and I spoke those things to him. I then had a prophetic inner image of him, of what he was in the past. That's a word of knowledge. That was a word of knowledge about him. I didn't realize it was. I was just seeing it in my imagination, in my mind's eye. And then I had a prophetic vision for God's purpose for him into the future. So there are so many different ways that God can talk to us as we go about our day. Now, it did take time. I actually sat with him for well over an hour. And in the end I said, well, look, I've got children at home. I need to get home, and I've got to get the dog home and get on with my day. But, you know, thank you for talking to me, and thank you for trusting me with your heart. Now, I don't know what happened to Stuart. He didn't contact us in the end. I prayed for a long time for him, and my heart still goes out to him whenever I think of that little sandy-haired boy with curly hair and freckles right across his face. I hope he's okay, and I hope he does choose to believe that he can be set free from alcohol, which I prayed for him for, and one day be that man that I saw encouraging and coaching kids to love their football. Anyway, enough from me. I just thought I'd share a God is good story. We'll catch you soon. Bye for now. Take care.